don't know why you call into the show. You're blatantly lying. You have a fucking bone to pick. Get this guy the fuck up out of here, bro.
You have nothing.
Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Argument.
I'm up 170,000 right now on my Ethereum, motherfucker. What the fuck are you talking about? Not making money. Shut the fuck up, dude. I hate retards. Get this guy off our line, bro. What the fuck?
He's up every single show,
your dumb monkey ass that way, bro. Dude just calls in all the time to chimp out and hate. How the fuck am I up? Look, I got receipts for my shit, motherfucker.
He's a Bitcoin maxi. He only believes in Bitcoin. If you don't do that, you're a scammer. You're a salesperson, bro. Bitcoin obviously is a foundational thing, but like,
absolutely.
Here we go.
The right one. The right one.
There we go. 170K up on Ethereum only. Don DeMarco.
Beautiful. See, that's why I hate these niggas, bro, because they just sit there. And here's the other thing. When I bought Ethereum, it was way cheaper. I was getting it at around 1,800. Not everyone has the money to buy Bitcoin. So you can go in and get Ethereum if you don't have as much money to put in. And then this dude's a fucking retard,
buy the coins and then put the money into Bitcoin if you want to after.
Yo, man, I hate fucking idiots, dude. Calls into the show, you're not gonna make any money. What the fuck is this? I'm looking at it right now. I hate stupid people, bro. Fucking hate stupid people.
And Myron, what was the first coin I told you to buy when we had our first
Bitcoin? You literally told me to buy Bitcoin, and then as Bitcoin started to get more expensive, I said, okay, let me go ahead and get the next best thing, and I started buying up Ethereum. But yeah, we never discount Bitcoin. But this fucking retard's over here saying Bitcoin, right? You're wasting your time if you don't buy anything else but Bitcoin, and I fucking hate idiots like that.
Yeah. He calls every show.
Bro.
Same guy. And here's the thing. He talks about opportunity costs. There's a time to buy Bitcoin. When Bitcoin hit $15,500, you know, 18,000, 20,000, we were backing up the Brinks truck, buying Bitcoin only. Then we bought Ethereum. We were telling people to buy it, keep buying Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin every day on Charlie's show, my show, during 22, 23, 24, keep buying Bitcoin. But there comes a point in time where like, all right, should I buy 115, 20? It's an incredible coin. Absolutely. I will continue to always buy Bitcoin, but it's now $115,000 when I was buying it for $15,000. There's opportunity costs. I can make more money on other coins. Am I selling my Bitcoin off? No, I still have the Bitcoin I bought at $15,000. I still have the Bitcoin I bought for $3,000. I still have the Bitcoin I bought for $500 back in 2016. But there's opportunity costs, right? At the top of the cycle, you don't want to buy Bitcoin because the gains you get aren't that going to be that great anymore because you already have you can take profits on the coins you bought already cheaper. You on the fresh capital, you buy altcoins to make faster multiples, take that cash, and then buy Bitcoin at the bottom when it crashes.
Yeah, bro. Dude, fuck that guy, man. We'll just move on to somebody else, man. Like, I hate retards that come in here and say stupid shit like that because it's like, bro, I literally have my portfolio here where I made almost 200,000 on fucking Ethereum by buying another coin that isn't Bitcoin, you idiot.
But to Miguel's point, Bitcoin's already high. Most people can't afford that.
Yeah, especially now.
Yeah.
Especially now.
Times are hard.
You know what I mean? When I was buying Ethereum, Bitcoin was already getting at 20, 30, 40, 50, 60K when I was buying Ethereum at like 1,800. So now everyone has the money to buy Bitcoin. Unlike, and you know the other revealing thing? Won't show his portfolio, but he want to sit here and lecture everybody else.
Bro,
I show my shit.
On. You know what's funny?
I show mine.
If he was so good, he would be on YouTube. He'd be on his own show, getting views, getting collaborations. Where's his channel? Nowhere. Where's his views? Nowhere. Okay. Shut up, nigga.
Like, yo, he don't got more money than any of us. So we're trying to tell us what the fuck it is, bro. Like, I hate these guys, man. Shut the fuck up. All right, let's get to the next caller.
In December of 22, we did the mega course. And we came on here. Bitcoin was real low. We got everyone to buy Bitcoin sub $20,000. We got to buy Ethereum $700, $800. We got to buy Solana. A ton of our guys bought Solana under $10. We bought, XRP at the low. We bought everything.
Hold on, Miguel. We need a new rule. If you're gonna call it and toot your horn and talk shit to us, show your portfolio. If not, don't say a word, bro. At least that's fair, right? That's fair.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. And it doesn't even have to be a crazy dollar amount, right? As long as you've made money, that's great, right? If you have $1,000 that you put in the market and you brought it $10,000, congratulations. That I consider that a W. It's not about how much you have. It's more about like what have you done. Where are you putting your money where your mouth is. But the small little side note is one thing we do talk about is how to be coin agnostic in your crypto mindset. Not that you need to love every altcoin that's out there because 95% of them basically will fail. It's like the internet, right? Websites work and some of them work better than others over time. Some of them stick around like Amazon, Google and stuff like that. But basically, if you're coin agnostic, you can not fall into the emotional tribalism that a lot of people fall into in crypto. They tend to love XRP or love Bitcoin or love Ethereum, which is great, but it's good to expand your horizons learn about the whole market, and then make proper decisions based on each quarter's timing. So if you're coin agnostic, you'll usually get the wool pulled over your eyes a lot less by a lot of different projects, because you won't believe the hype on every single project. Instead, you'll hear the argument of, okay, why is each project maybe have a different use case and stuff like that? Which ones are good? Which ones are better than others? And then you can make your proper investments, bets, trades accordingly, depending on how you're approaching the market. So there's not a one size fits all for everybody, but sometimes people like to basically claim that there is, which.
And just the last thing, he was getting basically really mad at us for basically like, how could you tell guys to buy coins that are being bought up by banks and VCs? That's the same people buying Bitcoin up. They
Standard Charter, Fidelity. I mean, these banks are stupid, right?
I mean, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan. I mean, basically every Bank of America, damn near every single bank in America that has been buying Bitcoin, has been buying Ethereum, has been buying crypto companies. But they don't get mad when they're buying Bitcoin. When they're buying Bitcoin, hey, Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, these are great companies when they're buying Bitcoin. But when they buy something else, now they're the devil.
But Miguel, to your point and Charlie's point, you know what I want to buy? Coins that make me money. Fuck being only one coin, bro. That's what, bro. If I can make money for my family, any coin, I will. That's it. Period, bro. Like,
yeah. But look, to his point, right? Long term. If you're only going to pick one coin, the safest, absolutely safest coin is Bitcoin.
Of course,
absolutely.
of course.
But we're coin agnostic. We buy multiple coins. One of my main things is like every bear market, I buy a certain amount of Bitcoin that I'm never going to sell. Or at least I'm not going to sell it in the next like 10, 15 years. This next in late 26, when we're doing a mega course for the bottom or whatever, right? We're going to be telling guys, hey, you guys, get your first 10th of a Bitcoin. Because like if Bitcoin only goes to $70,000, it's going to be $7,000 for a 10th of a Bitcoin. Most people don't have $70,000. You can buy stack stats and chill, but it's the average person's probably making $60,000 a year. 20% of that is like dispensable income and stuff. So it's like so most people have like $12,000 a year to invest into things. Over time, they get better at saving. They have more money, but like the average person doesn't have the capital to buy a full $70,000 Bitcoin after it crashes from like 200,000 down to 70,000. But we can get people into their first 10th of a Bitcoin, and they can hold that for a long time, and that's going to turn into a decent amount of money. That's life-changing money. But that's what we do for people.
Hey, it's 100. Yeah, it's 100K when Bitcoin gets to $1 million, and Bitcoin will one day.
Yeah, this is why anyone that's like this is why it gets cringy when anyone's a maximalist about anything. It just gets crazy. Like when people are all like crazy XRP guys or crazy Bitcoin guys or crazy Ethereum, it just magically everyone turns into like a cunt basically.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And the guy's obsessed. Anyway, let's get to the next person, bro. Who gives a fuck, man? Some random anon motherfucker talking shit.
All right.
So it doesn't matter, bro. Honestly, like
3385. You are up. 3385.
Hello, you guys hear me?
Yeah, man, what's up? Hit us with your question.
Assalamu alaikum, Myron, and what's good, fresh and everything. And
Alaikum salam.
Question,
You're a bit muffled, bro.
Your phone is your quality is really bad, bro.
You might talk into the phone itself.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
No,
but
you're
muffled.
coming in muffled.
Muffled, bro.
My bad. Just let me know if you can hear me now.
Yeah, we can.
A little bit better.
Okay, yeah. So. Yeah, thank you guys. I just had a few questions about the crypto coins that you guys were talking about. So right now, I only own Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I feel like the person before me was a little bit rude about it. But my question is like the thing about Solana is it's like not really held by institutional investors. If you can understand what I'm saying, and I just think that I know what the guy before me was saying, but I just feel like, maybe you guys can rebuttal this for me, I don't know. I just feel like Bitcoin and Ethereum are the only safe plays right now in terms of the crypto market. Like I said, the infrastructure is not there with Solana and all the smaller coins. Can you elaborate more on that?
So I'll give you the opinion of not myself, but Standard Chartered Bank, okay?
Okay.
So Standard Chartered Bank is a bank out of the UK. The way that they're looking at the market right now is their call for Bitcoin at the end of this year is about 180,000. They think Ethereum's going to 7,500 by the end of this year. And they weren't sold on Solana until about the middle of this summer. And the main reason why that was is because this cycle where Solana has really made its money is on meme coins. And that's, your crypto natives, that's your retail traders. You're right. That's not institutions, correct. Here's where Solana's kind of been really interesting, though, right? Which is Standard Chartered Bank said from about this summer, they've started to see more interest in Solana from institutions because the ETF is coming on its way here, probably in the middle of October, around the October 10th to the 22nd, somewhere in there is probably where it should get approved. And then you already have Galaxy, which is Galaxy Digital, to Mike Novograt's company. He's kind of a traditional Wall Street guy, along with Jump Capital and a few others that are joining in. They basically got $1 billion that they got together from a group, and they're putting that into Solana. Pantera. This is the really interesting one, though, which is Pantera Capital. Pantera Capital. Pantera Capital. Sorry, I was like Pantera Fund. No, Pantera Capital. They're the oldest cryptocurrency hedge fund. Dan Moorhead's the guy who leads that company, and he's been right about what's kind of like the next thing around the corner in crypto. He was he's the oldest cryptocurrency hedge fund, and they basically built it on Bitcoin from the early days. Then they pivoted to Ethereum in probably between 2016 to 2018.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that period, they were slowly adopting it. Dan Moorhead specifically, I remember this very vividly, went on a podcast in 2019, a cryptocurrency podcast with, I think it was Cointelegraph or CoinDesk, one of those two publications. They interviewed him, and he said, I'm bullish on Ethereum, I'm bullish on DeFi, decentralized finance, which didn't exist until 2020, which is a year later than that. They laughed at him. They absolutely laughed at him. They're like, bro, like DeFi, that doesn't even exist right now. We don't even have a DeFi exchange. Like, what are you talking about? A year later, DeFi just started. 2 years later, DeFi freaking boomed. Now we're in a DeFi market. Standard Chartered Bank has basically started seeing that money starting to flow to Solana. And what did Pantera Capital do? They bought $1 billion of Solana. When did they do it?
Isn't that sorry to cut you off. Isn't that like more of a short-term
the last part I'll just say, the very, very last part is, so they bought $1 billion, but when did they do it? They bought it at the early part of this cycle over the last 2 years. And they bought it off of FTX because FTX was selling off a lot of their Solana. So they tend to be a first mover. And so they're huge on Solana. Then Galaxy Digital is coming in. Once you get the ETF approved in October, you'll have more inflows coming to Solana. So if I were to rank them, I would say Bitcoin's already got most of its inflows. Ethereum's right now the coin that's getting the most inflows. And then Solana is kind of the next on the docket. But you're right, like Bitcoin and Ethereum are ahead of it. But Solana is getting that institutional adoption, and they're also getting real world assets and tokenization on chain. And that's what's going to keep it thriving. But
and we've had plenty of guys are Bitcoin only, Ethereum only, that have taken the course, and we just basically help them to basically when to buy local lows. Like, so like for guys that are only Bitcoin or only Ethereum, you either have like a very basic DCA strategy where you buy every week depending on your paycheck, or you have more of a laddered in strategy where you kind of save up like a month's income of purchases and you buy on the big red day so they can get better entry. So you kind of maximize your Satoshis or your basically your fractions of Ethereum. But you having Bitcoin and Ethereum only portfolio, you've done very well and you're going to continue to do very well. It's just you have to really, really, really watch the market to start taking some profits, because these are the thermometers of the crypto space. Bitcoin and Ethereum are the absolute, that's what everyone's watching. And when they top out, the rest of crypto tops out within 3 months. It's over, basically. So, my
average price for Bitcoin was 55,000, and I sold it at the top at like 121,000. And so then I bought back in when it dropped to 113,000 with what I made from there. And so that's where I'm at right now. I primarily am a U.S. equities trader. I mean, I just trade mainly U.S. equities. I'm maybe 20% crypto. But yeah, I mean, it's good for me to understand this too, because I don't understand the smaller coins. I feel like Bitcoin is just digital gold in my opinion and stuff like that. And I guess their infrastructure, in my opinion, maybe you could try to change my mind on that. And I'm a little bit sold on it, but I'm still not 100% confident on it.
You're a really intelligent guy. Look, so I'll give you two spots that are kind of our first. We're going to talk about this in the crypto mindset course, but I'll talk about it here. It's about the warning spots. So $138,000 Bitcoin and $156,000 Bitcoin. So $138,000 Bitcoin is basically a 2x of the all-time high of 21. It's like the first danger zone we've hit. We're like, that's where like it could top. That would be really shitty. That would be a really shitty all-time high for Bitcoin. But we're not going to lie to our guys. We're going to be like, hey, you guys, we've crossed the danger zone. We're at $138,000 Bitcoin. People, it could top here.
Pay closer attention.
Yeah, head on a swivel now. Okay, we're watching. The next level is $158,000 Bitcoin, which is a $3 trillion market cap. This guy was like, unit bias, round numbers. Well, Bitcoiners do the same thing. Everyone wants a 1 Bitcoin or 10 Bitcoin. If you look at the top wallets, they're split up in 1 Bitcoin chunks, 10 Bitcoin chunks, 100 Bitcoin chunks, 1,000 Bitcoin, 10,000. The biggest whales are splitting their wallets by 10,000s. Oh, isn't that a unit bias? Isn't that a round number? But that's just human nature. Well, human nature we never will get, as long as humans are buying crypto or equities or anything, we have human nature. So a $3 trillion market cap is basically it's 52,000 times 3, basic, rough math there. So it's like 156 to 158. So if you are in profits, you could take your original principal out at that time and then just kind of roll the dice on of it. Or but you're obviously a kind of a high level trader. So I just want to tell you that so you have that information. That's on Bitcoin. And then from there, with Bitcoin, if Bitcoin tops there, Ethereum's topping really soon as well. Maybe Ethereum.
Yeah, like I said, I got in Ethereum a long time ago too, and I sold it at around like 4,000. And so maybe I should have held it, but I bought back into it again and everything. But my last question is too. So MSTR, right? They're a company that I think Michael Saylor owns. They own a lot of Bitcoin or something like that. And so I screwed around with that in terms of owning the stock. And then there's BMNR, which is like kind of like MSTR, but for Ethereum. What's your guys' thoughts on that? Is there any company like that's a U.S. equity company that holds Solana like that, or is that in the process of coming?
So there's 2 companies that hold Solana as digital asset treasury companies. One of them is named Helios, and I believe Helios actually has a working relationship with Pantera Capital. And then is like Firm something. I forgot the name of the next one, but they recently are putting in about $4 billion. I'd have to pull up the article, or maybe Miguel can. But they put in about $4 billion into Solana. So yeah, there's a few of them, but Bitmine right now for Ethereum is probably the most aggressive one because they're trying to outpace what Michael Saylor did with strategy.
Yeah, there is. I'll try to find. If not, I will leave it for you in the comment section of this video. We'll find that company for you for Solana. I think there is like one company, like for Litecoin as an example, but like that's pretty risky. It's mostly the Ethereum companies and and mostly Bitcoin companies, because like the Bitcoin companies have the jump on the Ethereum companies. Like right now, we mostly have treasury companies that are kind of privately held, with not many of them having stocks. But I think the stocks are coming for the Ethereum companies very soon, over the next 6 months. With Bitcoin, there's plenty of them, but like with Michael Saylor's one, it's already run up so much already. But like if Bitcoin keeps going higher, it's levered out and it's going to keep going. But there's also quite a few Bitcoin companies that are, because they're not over leveraging themselves, they're kind of trading under book value a little bit, which is like very strange, because but that's just kind of the market right now. Basically, the market's really, really, really like incentivizing like the Michael Saylor strategy for the Bitcoin side, because they want people to go like full tilt leverage, because it's like if Bitcoin goes higher, that means they can borrow more to buy more Bitcoin. So that means they're just going to keep growing. The stock will just keep going because they keep having more Bitcoin under management or under their treasury, I should say.
Yep. The name of the company for Solana is called Forward Industries. That's the one that has put in the most. And then you have Soulmate, which was made from Brera, which is a UAE company. So that one in particular is going to have the stock both on the what do you call it? The NASDAQ, the NASDAQ with the US, but then also the UAE market as well. So that one's going to be traded over both.
Yeah, be really careful. This is stocks versus cryptos. They act more different. They operate. Yeah, but the stock side has performed very well, especially if you're in Michael Saylor's. Yeah. Like that's the company we're going to be looking at, as long as they don't explode. That's one danger about do not hold when crypto tops. Do not hold Michael's strategy stock. It's going to crash.
That's a rule number one, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, rule number one. Yeah, but as long as Michael Saylor's company doesn't like hit a margin level where they have to liquidate their Bitcoin, it's going to be a great stock because he's going to run it up again. So that's going to be one that we're going to be looking into very much. Coinbase stock was another one as well. It didn't perform as well as Michael Saylor's because Michael Saylor's is full tilt leveraging